back to NCRT class 9th, chapter number 8, motion. Children, in the previous class, we studied what is meant by uniform motion and a non-uniform motion. In today's class, children, we'll start with one more important topic, that is what? Speed and average speed, and the next what? Velocity we will study. First, we'll come by one. What is this speed, children? If a car is moving or running fast, we will say that it is moving what? With a high speed, we can say, isn't it? What is that? If a car is running speed, we will say that it is moving very fast. The same car, if it decreases its speed, we will say that the car is moving slowly. So what is the term actually speed here? We will say that if a car is moving very fast, its speed is high, isn't it? The same car, if it is moving slowly, means we will say that the speed of the car is very slow. What the term actually speed refers here? It is nothing but the distance covered by an object or the distance travelled by an object per unit time is called as a speed. What is the meaning of a speed, children? That is the distance travelled by an object per unit time is called as a speed. So how can we express this statement, children? Speed is equals to distance divided by time taken. Distance, you can write even distance travelled. So what is that, children? Speed is nothing but the distance travelled in a, that is per unit time, is called as a speed. So in mathematically, how we will express? That is V is equals to S divided by T. The formula, children, this is a important formula where V is nothing but a speed, S is nothing but a distance travelled, and T is nothing but a time. Isn't it, children? Is it clear? What is the formula for a speed? It is V is equals to S divided by T, where V is the speed, S is nothing but a distance, and T is nothing but a small t is nothing but a time taken. Now we will write its SI unit, children. That is SI unit. V is equals to S divided by T means, what is the unit of our distance, children? We learned already, that is what? Meter. And the time is seconds. The SI unit of a time is seconds, and meter is expressed in M, and second is taken as S. So what is that? Speed is equals to M by S, which can also be written as meter per second. So the SI unit of a speed is what, children? Meter per second. How we have to pronounce this? Meter per second. Got it, children? The SI unit of a speed is what? Meter per second. And also, children, there are the few instruments like a speedometer and a odometer. You know what is the meaning of a speedometer? On vehicles, that is near top of the vehicles, near the display board, these instruments will be set up, children. That is generally speedometer. Speedometer means it is an instrument. It will give the speed of an object, how much it is moving with the speed, how much fast it is moving, that can be given by this instrument. Speedometer means it is an instrument. It gives a record of how much fast, how much speed an object is moving. Whereas odometer near this speedometer some display board you will get, isn't it? There this is also, odometer is also another instrument. It gives how much distance it has traveled by so far. That will be given by the odometer. Odometer will give a distance traveled, whereas speedometer will give a how much speed, how much high speed or low speed an object is moving will be given by speedometer, whereas odometer will be given, it gives what, how much distance it has covered. These two are important terms, children. And here, understand children, speed means what? What is its SI in it? What is the mathematical formula? And what are the instruments which we'll use here? Okay. Now we will learn average speed, children. That is what? Average speed. You know, the average speed is nothing but the total distance traveled by total time taken, isn't it? What is that? Average speed is equals to total distance traveled by total time taken. So how can we write, children? Average speed is equals to total distance divided by total time. So this is what the average speed formula. Because children, that is we all have an experience while traveling in a car or in a bus. The speed of the vehicle is not going to be same, because the path may be different, children. At some places or at some position there will be a straight line. At some other places the area might be filled with a crowd, and some other places it need to take a curve. So the speed of any moving object, or here car or a bus, it is going to change, isn't it, children? If it is straight means then its speed will be more, and if it is any that is if it wants to move in a city means brakes he has to apply. So at the time what happens, he has to decrease the speed. So every time means the speed is not a constant throughout its way, we can say. So the average speed can be used at the time in order to calculate the speed, and it is given by the formula total distance divided by total time taken. Best example I'll give, children. Suppose if a car is traveling 100 km per hour in 4 hours, 100 kilometers in 4 hours. So at this time what will be the speed? 100 divided by 4, you can take it as a 25 kilometer per hour is the its average speed. If the road is smooth means this value may increase. Means if the road is filled with a crowd or any brakes is there, any curve is there means then the speed may get within less, means less than that of this 25 kilometer per hour. Isn't it clear, children? And one more, children, here for the smaller units you can take a meter per second. For the bigger terms or bigger values we will use kilometer per hour, and also we can take centimeter per second for smaller values. So if they has given meter per second, use this. If they have given kilometer per hour, then kilometer 1000 divided by 3600 you have to take. Then similarly centimeter per second if they have given, depending upon the speed how much or in which way they have asked, you need to solve the problems. Is it clear, children? Speed means distance, how much distance it has traveled in the given amount of a time, or per unit time. Per unit time is called as a speed, and the average speed can be recorded as a total distance by total time taken. For smaller values we'll use a centimeter per second, and the SI unit of a speed is what? Meter per second, and kilometer per hour we will take for a higher values, and the formula is what? V is equals to S divided by t. And speedometer and odometer are an instrument where speedometer will be used to know the speed of an moving object, whereas odometer will be used to know the distance traveled by it. Is it clear, children? Okay, now we will discuss velocity. Children, now we will learn one more important concept, that is what? Velocity. You know, velocity is nothing but it is the distance traveled by an object per unit time in a given direction. For example, a car is traveling from home to school and school to some other shop. Isn't it, children? We can say that it is traveling this much of a distance. But in order to know its direction, we need to know a velocity, children, in which direction it is moving. At that time, one more quantity, that is called a velocity, is needed. Isn't it? In which way, in which direction the car is moving can be known by its velocity. So, velocity, how we can define, children? It is the distance traveled by it per unit time in given direction. So, what is the statement? That is the distance traveled by an object per unit time in a given direction. In a given direction is called what? Velocity. So how can we express this? Velocity is equals to distance traveled in a given direction divided by time. Isn't it, children? This distance traveled in a given direction is nothing but a, children, here displacement. So we can write this as velocity is equals to displacement divided by time. And then the both the same, children. Displacement means an object is covering so and so distances in the given direction, then it can be called it as a displacement. So mathematically we will represent V is equals to S divided by T. Here where V is velocity, S is displacement and T is what? Time taken. And the SI unit for velocity is also same, children, meter per second. SI unit of velocity is what? Meter per second. Isn't it? For smaller values, the same, children. You can take centimeter per second. For bigger values or bigger velocity, you can use a kilometer per hour. Here, what is this? The unit for speed at a velocity is same and it is what? Meter per second. And here, how we will represent now average velocity, isn't it? And before to that, we already learned that scalar is speed is a scalar quantity, whereas velocity is a vector quantity. Because when I say a car is moving with 25 km per hour, then it is this 25 km what? It is a speed. It has only distance. So it can be called a magnitude it have. So it can be called it as a what? Scalar quantity. But when I say that it is moving in so and so direction, means if a car moves with 25 km per hour in north direction, isn't it? Means when we take displacement here, the direction is also important in case of a velocity. You have to remember. Now we will write, that is what, average velocity. Average velocity so children, here the for example, if an object is moving with a uniform velocity, at that time its average velocity can be taken as a arithmetic mean of initial velocity and a final velocity. So this can be written average velocity is equals to initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. Understanding children? And this can be mathematically expressed as VAV is equals to U plus V divided by 2, where VAV, that is where VAV is average velocity and initial velocity means U is initial velocity and V is final velocity. Is it clear children? The average velocity can be expressed as initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. This is a what? Formula. So these all the things are very important children. So you have to read and remember the important concepts. So once again I'll repeat children, in today's class what all we discussed, speed means we learned. Speed is nothing but the distance travelled by an object per unit time, isn't it? And it is expressed as speed is equals to distance divided by time taken. Whereas velocity is nothing but it is also, that is distance travelled by an object per unit time, but in a given direction we need to consider. So it is both the quantities unit is same, meter per second, and the average speed is what, how will represent, that is total distance divided by total time taken, whereas average velocity can be expressed as initial velocity plus final velocity divided by 2. Got it children? Okay. And one more thing very important, you have to remember, speed is a scalar quantity because it has only a magnitude, whereas a velocity is a vector quantity. It have both magnitude and a direction.